murdered unnecessarily, lured to a home, and brutally beaten and murdered.
Was actually invited inside by Alexander's husband.
Join me on this special edition of Tazzy TV. 25-year-old Tyra Crosby was shot and killed by a man's wife while visiting his home.
At the scene of the city's latest homicide, detectives with CMPD are investigating this homicide on Porter Street. There's very limited information right now.
I'm here, simply here, begging and pleading for justice for my child.
Thursday night, Tanya Hoskins wanted to make sure that her daughter, Tyra Crosby, was not forgotten and that her full story was shared.
She was our angel, our flower, murdered unnecessarily, lured to a home, and brutally beaten and murdered.
Porter Street, just off Roswell's Ferry Road. CMPD says shots were fired after a woman came home and found a stranger inside her house when she got there. Our crews were at the scene and spoke with officials who detailed what exactly happened.
The resident had arrived home, found an unknown other female inside the residence, and a shot was fired. There is a homicide investigation on scene right now. Currently, one person of interest and one witness are being interviewed downtown.
CMPD says there's no other suspects involved, or it doesn't appear to have any other danger.
The scene of a homicide on Porter Street in Northwest. This is between Roswell's Ferry Road and Freedom Drive.
Now, this started as a home invasion investigation. According to police, a woman called 911 saying she shot and killed a woman she found in her house.
Investigators say they do not believe the two women knew one another. It was the alleged shooter's husband is the only witness in this case. And I do want to get to some video my photographer Alex took early this morning when we first arrived. That was here on Porter Street, and police were investigating early this morning. That 911 call came in just before 5:30 a.m. Now, the person of interest and her husband were taken to police headquarters to be interviewed. A next-door neighbor told me gun violence has become a big issue in this area over the past few years. That neighbor, Jeanette Jones, says her own home has been shot up twice now since she's moved here.
Now, everybody's shooting. We got drive-by shootings. You hear it all the time. And you hear it back here in that warehouse back there. They be back there shooting, racing cars.
So she wants you to know what really happened to her daughter. She was killed Tuesday morning on Porter Street in Northwest Charlotte. CMPD says Stephanie Alexander arrived home, found Crosby inside, and then shot her. Alexander is charged with voluntary manslaughter. WBTV's Cam Gaskins is live outside CMPD tonight. So, Cam, what did Crosby's mom tell you?
Yeah, Molly, she wanted us to know that her daughter, Tyra Crosby, was not an intruder in Alexander's home and was actually invited inside by Alexander's husband. And that's why she believes the charges deserve to be upgraded to first-degree murder. And that's why she wanted to make sure her daughter's story was shared tonight. It's all new at 11.
So I'm here, simply here, begging and pleading for justice for my child.
Thursday night, Tanya Hoskins wanted to make sure that her daughter, Tyra Crosby, was not forgotten and that her full story was shared.
She was our angel, our flower, murdered unnecessarily, lured to a home, and brutally beaten and murdered.
According to CMPD, Stephanie Alexander returned home to her house on Porter Street in Northwest Charlotte early Tuesday morning and found Crosby inside before shooting and killing her. Crosby's mother says that Tyra was invited into that home by Alexander's husband and that her daughter did not know he was married or that he and his wife owned that home.
She was invited there. She did not just pop up there. She was not an intruder. She was invited there.
She also says that Crosby called her in her final hour and left a voicemail in which you can hear Alexander beating her before shooting her. According to Hoskins, it was a prolonged beating, and she's hopeful that this new evidence will elevate the charges against Alexander.
Because right now she's charged with the lowest form of murder. I want it up to first-degree murder.
Alexander was charged with voluntary manslaughter and booked into the Mecklenburg County Jail on Tuesday. Hours later, she was out on bond.
She murdered my daughter at 5 a.m. and she was out at 8 p.m. So that means that human life means nothing anymore.
For now, Hoskins says she'll wait for CMPD to investigate, but she won't let anyone forget.
I don't want the investigators to go away. I won't stop until there's another charge. and justice for my child.
A hot boy tells his story of picking cotton in Angola in Louisiana.
500 pounds of cotton a week, 100-pound cotton a day. So if you don't have 100-pound cotton that day, you got to make it up the next day and the next day. By the end of the week, Friday, you got your scale got to where your name is at, got to prove that you had 500 pounds that week. So if you don't, you automatically go work over the Saturday and Sunday. It was pure slavery.
They're losing everything they knew and had was going up in flames.
A disaster that had brought Chicago to its knees.
The Great Chicago Fire devastated the city, but they came
They
together
said
and
that it was
endured.
Judgment Day.
The city was a landscape of utter devastation.
If you want to see more, I'll be putting the links in the description below. Just tap the word more and the YouTube
Like that.
button.
Catherine O'Leary becomes a myth,
Subscribe.
and the city
Fire can't stop us. We are destined.